Just the fear of losing you. Don't you know my name? Well, you've been so long, and I've been putting out fire. With gasoline.
Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. Will you stand above me? Look my way, never love me. Rain keeps falling down, down, down. Will you recognize me? Call my name or walk on by. Rain keeps falling down, 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 down. Will you stand above me? Look my way, never love me. Rain keeps falling down, down, down. Will you recognize?
Well, we had a real big week in sports in Britain. Johnny Brewer has set a new British national record at 122.44 miles per hour in the S2000 class. Ben Jelf has increased his Sport Outboard S Unlimited class world and British national record at 121.8 miles per hour. Oban Duncan has set a new British national record in Clubman 1000 catamaran class at 73.68 miles per hour. Sam Whittle has set world and British national Formula 2 record at 133.213 miles per hour subject to ratification. The previous world record had been set by his father, Keith Whittle. Congratulations! At 65.35 miles per hour, Thomas Mantrip set a new British national record in the OSI 400 class. Over in sprint car, Logan Schuckhart takes the honors on World of Outlaws World Finals opening night in Concord. In ARCA News, 15-year-old Katie Hettinger competed in the season finale last night in Phoenix. More on this story is the Chicago Blue Collar Guy Network's reporter, Charlie.
Thanks, Don. It was a heck of a night here in Phoenix. The fans were having fun. The drivers were having all around one heck of a time. Sammy Smith won the race, and the 15-year-old female phenomena Katie Smith took an impressive 19th, the last car on the remaining lap of 107.
If you're looking for a professional boat replica, the place to go is for Sanchez. Fernando's boat replicas, the perfect birthday gift, or just play with them in your tub. Remember, if you was a replica of your boat, the Fernando. And now another side of boat racing legends by the Chicago Blue Collar Guy.
Welcome. I bought a new microphone. Dollar store, $1.29. I bought one before, but it didn't work. I made 10 minutes one time of not too long ago, one episode, and I talked for 10 minutes. Microphone broke. I'm gonna have to buy a better microphone, I'll tell you that. But this episode is back in my day, I guess, boat racing. I want to touch on a few subjects: Clyde Queen, Harry Pasterzak, and I guess I'll talk about one of my favorite boat races I ever had down in Louisiana. So we'll get started off with Harry Pasterzak. What I remember about Harry Pasterzak, I'll also put this on my autobiography channel, or Blue Collar Guy, or whatever I'm calling that thing now. I'm always a work in progress. I just get better. Maybe I even get worse, depending on your point of view. It doesn't matter to me. I've been having fun. I'm out here in Milwaukee right now. I was just hanging around the city. I was doing a little community organizing for the vote coming up November 8th on Tuesday. Trying to get the vote out. Trying to get people to vote, but whatever. But yeah, that's what I was trying to bring up is Milwaukee, man. It's fabulous over here in Milwaukee right now. It's 70 degrees, 75 degrees right now. Getting November, pretty nice. Hope we won't get hit pretty hard. Milwaukee's a great city. But anyways, yeah, I'll get back to Harry Pasternak. What I remember about Harry Pasternak, I guess you can call him like the Dieter Koenig of America. He was after pretty much, it came around, because I don't really remember much about Quincy, because I guess Quincy was really big when I was younger, but they kind of petered out. But Harry came along, and he did a lot of work for, the pro hydro class in the States, and he did a lot of work with the go-karts and stuff like that. I was out to Harry's house a few times over there. I guess he lived close to Quincy in the, whatever they call it, the Four Corners, Four Cities or something like that of Illinois. I've even been out there a couple times. I never went out there when I was older. But yeah, he had a real nice house over there. He was really good friends with John Winsler, was my first boss. Full-time boss, injection molding, job I hated. Job I got suckered into for 30 years. I wasn't with him for 30 years, I'll tell you that. But yeah, he was friends with John Winsler. He's friends with my dad. My dad bought all his stuff off there. Everything that Harry made, my dad bought, I think. But his house was really nice. His wife was really, really a sweetheart. I remember his house being pretty cool because he was like a 2-story house. He lived on the second level, and on the first level was his garage type deal. And when you're young, man, it was massive. It was just filled up with Bridgeport's lace, parts laying all over the place. I remember him making what was he doing? It was a 6-carb or something like that. 6 carbs for a Koenig, and I remember Bill Van wanted one too, and Harry's like, well, you can't afford it if you mean to make me one, But I remember going there a few times when I was a kid, driving all over there, driving all the way back at him Wednesday or Thursday night, whatever. Yeah. Harry was a really, really good guy. I ran into him a couple times outside the boat races too. I remember one time I went to Niagara Falls, me and my girlfriend, and then him and his wife came along, and so we hanged around a little bit at the falls. We took some tours together, on the boat and everything like that. And so we got more talking, because when I was younger, he talked to me, but not really, it was just adult to a kid type deal. But yeah, I remember when I was older and I was like getting my RB going. The RB class was like a spin-off of the Yamato 80, so Bill Van started the RB class, and I hated that motor, but Harry helped me out a little bit on that motor. He gave me I remember I burnt up a piston, he gave me a free piston, and gave me some free reeds and stuff like that when I rebuilt that motor, but I never ran that motor again after I rebuilt it. Yeah, Harry was a really, really good guy. I remember one time, he was a really good guy. I mean, yeah, like I said, I remember one time that he came to my house a few times. I remember one time my dad, like I said, my dad always bought every single part Harry made, it seemed like. I don't know, it was like, there's a little bit of like Larry Lotta sometimes my dad was with Harry Pasternak. I'm like, they had a new motor and everything like that, and now they're just trying to rebuild it, and I don't know, sometimes I think they made it worse than they made it better. But I remember one time, Harry came along, because I remember that. I think I have a picture. I'll throw that picture of like one of my dad's boats he built. That thing just ran flat. It never had no lift or anything like that. So Harry made up a little lift, aluminum piece to try to give it more lift and stuff like that. And one time, I was like only 10 or 9 years old. So he's over my house, and Harry comes up with these special spray paint, to spray the bottom of the boat to make it more slicker, I guess that's what it was supposed to be. But so my dad paints the bottom of the boat with this special paint and everything like that, and the boat's on the trailer, and I guess Harry was there. Yeah, because Harry came with a piece of aluminum and tried to give my dad more lift on his boat. So Harry's at my house, and I think it was a couple other boat racers at my house too, and they're like, Bill, what's that? What's that gray paint on the back of your boat for on the bottom? And I'm like, it's to make it go faster. My dad had my egg on me. Hey, you can't say that. I'm like, good guy, man. If you haven't been on the race course, what's the point, you know? Yeah, but that was pretty funny. My other two favorite people are Clyde Queen and Charlotte Queen. I remember a few years ago, one of Charlotte's daughters got a hold of me on Facebook. I remember him having a son Tom. You know, son Tom, because he worked on my cars and stuff like that before. I got a story a little bit for that one. But he had a daughter, too. I never even knew he had a daughter. I guess he was a couple years older than his younger son, Tom. But she got a hold of me on Facebook. And I'm like, I don't even know who the hell you are. You know, it's like, well, we didn't really go to races. That's kind of weird, you know. Then you got the parents going to races and always sending the kids out because me and my brother went everywhere with my parents. But that was pretty funny. But yeah, Clyde Quinn, Charlotte Quinn, Clyde was one character, boy. I love Clyde. Because, yeah, I guess that's why I took after smoking and stuff like that. It was because of him. And then Charlotte, too. Charlotte was like, man, remember that TV show, Night Shift? You know, that little old lady? That's how she was. I guess she used to race boats, too. That's what I heard. And then Clyde Quinn, he was, you know, president for Outburst Club of Chicago for a while and everything like that. And, yeah, Clyde and Charlotte was really good people. I remember, Dad bringing up my dad's boat I showed you. My Clyde built a copy off my dad. My dad had a C and a 500. And my Clyde, he built a 350. And I guess the wood he used wasn't the greatest, or he didn't put it together right. The boat looked pretty good. I remember watching it one time, and then the boat sank. That was so funny. That was the last time he ever raced, you know. Oh no, he came out. He tried to race again because I remember he bought a Pew and he bought a De Silva. Yeah, because I remember when he bought the Pew and the Silva, that's when they moved out to Quincy by Harry Passajack. Quincy, whatever, Molina, Illinois, or something like that. That's when they moved out there. So we go out there, and that's like, yeah. So me, Clyde Quinn, and Charlotte, and my mom, and my dad, and my brother were out playing. We were playing some game at New Year's Eve. It was Family Feud. That's what it was. Yeah, I guess they built an Olympic-sized swimming pool in their backyard and stuff like that. I guess Charlotte was a really good swimmer or something like that. And, yeah, I remember we're sitting around there, me, Clyde, and Harry Passajack, my dad, and stuff. And we had to be like 12 or 13 years old. I had to be like 12 or 13 because, like, Harry's like, yeah, why don't you let Bill and his brother Bob run your stuff, you know? And Clyde's like, nah. I want to get some girls to run my stuff. And I think that's the last time I seen Clyde one last time was when I was running the 350 Hydro. They came over to my house, him and Charlotte. I came home from work and I was at my parents' house still. And then I showed Clyde, we had, that's when we started, you know, having the inside trailers and stuff like that, all the boats inside. So Clyde comes over and we're sitting outside drinking a couple beers and talking about a little bit about the old times and stuff like that. Yeah, I heard Charlotte passed away a few years ago, and Clyde took it really, really hard. He started getting into building 125cc airplanes or something like that, model airplanes. I remember him doing that because I heard about it. And then I guess he passed away a couple years, 2019, maybe a year before my dad did or something like that. Yeah, Clyde, Charlotte, good people. Harry Passajack, man, good person. I remember after Harry died, I was out in Molina, Illinois. It had to be like Rock Island, that's what it was. I was at a race course in I was at a boat racing race. Nah, I wasn't Rock Island. It was the one that we had to bar. We had like 4 or 5 500s there and stuff like that. And I saw his wife out there after he passed away. She came out there at a boat race. We sat around and talked and had a little bit of good time. Yeah, she was a really, really nice lady. So that's it about Harry passing that Clyde Quinn. Oh yeah, it's fun time. I remember I bought an S10 pickup truck. So I bought an S10 pickup truck. About 2 months later, I get this company job, you know. So I sit in my S10 for about 3 years. It only had like maybe 15,000 miles. So I didn't even bother starting that motor up, that car truck up or nothing like that. So this truck, I had it parked behind in my work, you know, in the parking lot. And I had my company car, and I decided one day I'm going to start up my truck, you know. It had to be sitting there for 3 years. I didn't do shit. I managed to push the pickup truck inside the garage because we had, you know, the big dock doors we had inside where you put the machines in sometimes when we're putting new machines or training machines or something like that. So we had it in there, and then we had, you know, it was kind of like, it wasn't brick wall or nothing like that. We had plasterboard, you know, on the side. So my truck's in there, and cars wouldn't start because it was, you know, sitting there for 3 years. So the truck wouldn't start. So I had my company car jumper cable up to my truck. Okay, my truck's in my little S10 sitting inside here, only 15,000 miles on it. The thing was still brand new, and I had my company car sitting out there with jumper cables just sitting right outside the dock door. So, alright, and I decided, okay, I changed the oil in my truck. I made a mess. I made oil all over the place, and then I'm trying to use gasoline and pour it in the carburetor to start the truck, to prime it up, you know. So I started up, I finally started it up, it starts up, it backfires, and all of a sudden the whole thing starts on fire. There's fire going down the jumper cables to my company car. So I'm like, oh my God. So I run out to my company car, I toss that car out of there. So my truck's sitting in there, it's on fire. Oh, and I go run and get all these fire extinguishers, I put it out. Man, I could not believe how fire expands so fast, man. Ah, man, I always had about a respect for fire after that, because fire goes fast. And I couldn't believe I managed to put that fire out. So I pushed my truck out. Oh, and there was a mess. And thank God, it was a Sunday, okay? So next day I had to go to Tennessee or Texas or something like that to go for a job, thank God. So I'm trying to clean it up. I cleaned it up as much as I did. And I didn't come back for a week because I was out of work for a whole week. I didn't come back to Thursday or Friday. I come back Thursday, Friday, my boss wasn't there. And this was before cell phones or computers or anything like that. Well, we had computers, but no internet or nothing like that. So I come back Thursday or Friday, and I come in, my coworker's like, man, you boss, Japanese, it was a Japanese guy, Jeff Sato. He's like, he was all mad at me because he's like, I had to clean it up for 2 days. Because I still had oil mess all over the place. My boss was hot. But when he comes in Monday, he didn't say anything. Because I'm always a lovable one at work anyways. I always get my stuff done. But that was so funny. But anyway, so I take my truck out, and I take my truck. I had Tom get a tow truck and tow it over to Tom's house, because Tom, Clyde's son Tom, because he owned a mechanic shop or whatever down the road. So he goes over there and he gives me a call. He's like, dude, what did you do to your car, man? All the wires all burnt up and stuff like that. He's like, man, I could try to fix it. It'd be like $4,000 or $5,000 and I have to go to the scrapyard and look for everything. He's like, it's not even worth it. And I'm like, all right, just junk it. So that's my story about Clyde Queen, my truck that I almost burned down a whole building with. Charlotte, love you. And good old Harry Passer Jack.
And now for tech information, how a basic two-stroke motor works.
The reason: combustion has potential energy that can be converted into physical energy. When combustion occurs in a closed space, it will produce an explosion. And we know that explosions have expansion power. This expansion power is used to push the piston, so that we get the physical energy. But how to get combustion inside the engine? The combustion occurs when the fuel burn. But we cannot forget that the fire need oxygen. So to get the combustion, we need air, fuel, and fire. Air and fuel are mixed on the carburetor with ideal scale, while the fire produced by spark plug by ignition system. If the three material meet together, the combustion occurs. However, if the condition is like this, the piston is only pushed down. In fact, the physical energy we need is rotational motion. To solve this, there is a crank mechanism under the piston. It functions to convert the vertical motion of the piston into rotation. In addition, the crank mechanism makes the piston move back upward, so that combustion can be done again so that the engine can run longer. Then the question is, how to make the combustion happen continuously? In a two-stroke engine, there are only two steps for combustion to occur continuously. The first step is when the piston moves upward. When the piston moves upward, the space under the piston is enlarged. In addition, The intake channel that was originally covered by the piston wall, now is open. This condition causes the air and fuel mixture sucked into the crank chamber. The second step is when the piston moves down. The movement of the piston makes the crank chamber shrink, so that the air-fuel mixture in the crank chamber is pushed into the combustion chamber through the transfer channel. After that, return to step 1 where the piston moves up again. The crank chamber is enlarges, so that air and fuel are sucked in, while the combustion chamber is narrowed, even though this space is filled with air-fuel mixture. This condition makes the air-fuel mixture in the combustion chamber is compressed, so that the temperature and pressure rise. After that, continue to step 2 where the piston moves down. At this time, the spark plug is sparked, so that the compressed air-fuel mixture in the combustion chamber burn, and produces an expansion power that pushes the piston down. This combustion is what we need to keep the engine running. At the same time, the piston movement causes the crank chamber is narrowed, and the air-fuel mixture is pushed into the combustion chamber. Before the piston reaches the bottom dead center, the exhaust channel opens. Air-fuel mixture from the crank chamber moves to the combustion chamber, and pushes the residual gas out into the exhaust channel. When the piston reaches the bottom dead center, the residual gas has flushed out and now, the combustion chamber is filled with fresh air-fuel mixture. So the conclusion, the two-stroke engine has only 2 steps. Each step has 2 processes. The first step consists of intake and compression processes. Step 2, consisting of combustion and exhaust. Meanwhile, the gas mobility only utilizes piston walls which can close or open the gas channels based on piston movement. So, a 2-stroke engine does not require a valve mechanism. That's an explanation of the 2-stroke engine. Subscribe this channel and stay tuned to the next video.
He comes down, and the race course as he slides through, and grabbed just too much of it, and he ended up barrel rolling the boat and then stuffing it in the transom in the back, and that would skewed up the top cover of. Oh my, Eisenhower gets hit by Jesper Force, the Swedish driver, came right up and hammered it in the cockpit. Down into turn number 5 as they slide through, side by side, and there's a problem over in the far corner. Oh my, you can see bits and pieces flying as you watch from the other camera. Thani Elquimze and his teammate. Oh my, 2 friends took each other out.
Can you believe that? I mean, this is one race. There was a tremendous amount of pressure on these 2 local guys. It could not have happened at a worse place, Steve.
The 2 are very close, and Celio goes over.
The challenge up on Ahmed Al-Ali, and both stuff in 2 boat, 1 boat barrel rolls down in the corner.
And now what's trending on the internet.
In Facebook groups, Women of Motorsports is a post by Ladies of Motorsports magazine. LOM is an upcoming magazine that puts a positive spotlight on the women in the automotive or motorsports industry. The magazine's main focus is to empower and support all women in the industry as they crush goals and make dreams happen. They are looking for ladies who would like to have a spotlight in the first issue of the magazine that will be coming out in January 2023. Please feel free to DM me or email me at ladiesofmotorsportsmag@gmail.com. Thank you. Here are some other going-ons in the internet.
Her hair is hollow gold, her lips sweet surprise. Her hands are never cold. She's got Betty Davis eyes. She'll turn the music on you. You won't have to think twice. She's pure as New York snow. She got Betty Davis eyes. And she'll tease you, she'll unease you, all the better just to please you. She's precocious, and she knows just what it takes to make a pro blush. She got credit problem, stand outside. She's got Betty Davis eyes. She'll let you take her home. What's her appetite? She'll lay you on the throne. She got Betty Davis eyes. She'll take a tumble on you, roll you like you were dice, until you come out blue. She's got Betty Davis eyes.
If you need work done on your boat, and we guess a new one to be Bolt C. O'Connor on Facebook, judging by the pictures they do a fabulous job.
And next on Boat Racing is the Chicago Blue Collar Guy.
Welcome, another Boat Racing Memories. I talked about earlier about Harry Pazak, Clyde Quinn, and Charlie Quinn, and son Tom. People was burning down a building. But today, this time, this segment, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite boat races I ever had in my life. That was down in Louisiana. I was running the 350 Hydro, and I was running the 250 Hydro. That was after my brother got in his accident, and he quit racing, and I bought his boats off of him, his motors, and everything like that. That's when I bought it, I had like three 350s. Because I bought Johnny Dorch's 350 off him when I ran Runabout, and I'll tell that story a little bit. And another episode of my Runabout stories that I was no good at. But yeah, I had that motor, and then I had my dad's 350 motor, and then I bought another 5-port 350 Koenig. I think that's when I had that. But this ain't about me running the 350. This is one of my best boat races I had, running the 250 Hydro. We were down in Louisiana, and I'm trying to think if I didn't tell the story before. But we're down in Louisiana, and that's when two-cylinder Yamato's coming out, because I remember Gary had one, Chris Helstein had one, and me, I was thinking, man, it's no fair. I just bought a brand new 350 motor, and these guys are getting motors used for free, whatever. But anyways, it was a 250 story. The 250, it was a really fun motor to pull. I love pulling that motor when my brother's running it, but I hated that 4-cylinder driving it because it was a pretty fast little 250, but it was hard to get on a plane, really hard to get on a plane. I remember, I guess Dieter's son actually won world championships with that that 4-cylinder 250, because he put water cooled on it, I heard. But so I had that 250. I'm down in Louisiana, and remember Louisiana, they had a dock right in the middle of the two pits. So one pit's on one side, one pit's on the other side. Normally when I go out, I normally go out right away because we have a clock start here in the United States, and I normally go out right at when the cannon goes off because I want to test the course a couple times because I hate testing. I always hated traveling 1,000 miles, 800 miles, and you test and you break it and you don't even get the race. So I never really tested it. When I go to race courses, I just tested it right before the start of the clock. So they throw me out there, and the boat was not getting on plane. So I'm going like this, and I know she's going to die out. So I go around the pier to the pits on the right-hand side, and not really many people I was friends with over there. Well, I wasn't really friends with most people. And I'm like, who am I going to go to? You know, I don't even feel like going back on the race course, because once you're on a plane, I just get discouraged and stuff like that. I'm like, shut it off. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette, drink a beer, you know. So I'm coming in there, and then I see Nick Davis and his dad Chuck waved me into him, and I really never talked to them. They're stalkers. I had bad issues with stalkers back before in my life in Burlington, another race course. When I was like 7 or 8 years old, me and my cousin got in a fight with a couple stalkers, you know. Actually, a fist fight when we were kids, you know. So I always had, I guess, new generation X stalkers are probably a little bit better than the older ones, I guess, you know. That's why I'm including you in my shows and trying to, like, make all love together and everything like that. Promote you stalkers too. And I see the MBRA is running the U.S. title series, and I'm kind of happy about that because it kind of fills out the schedule. And it seems like U.S. title series and MBRA is all getting along together. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm coming in, and Nick Davis there, he's ex-stalkers. He was running. Nick Davis was running 350, and then he started running the 500 class, the same as my dad was, and then Chuck was running runabout, and he started running 350, but at the time he wasn't running 350. So I'm in my 250, I'm coming in, and I'm like, okay, I'll give these guys a shot, you know. So I get in there, Nick swims out to get me. He spins me around, his dad just pulls my rope, and I go right out there. And good thing, too, because like when I came up to that clock, man, I hit that clock perfectly. You know, I should actually go to, you know, later on, I should actually just wait till like the 1 minute gun before I take off, you know, because I hit that clock start perfectly. And I hit it perfectly, and I don't remember the rest of the race. The boats were like maybe like 100 yards behind me. They came up late. So I'm coming in the first start, and I look over there, and I look behind me on my left, and I see Denny Henderson coming. I'm like, oh, here comes Denny, you know. I'm going down the back straight, and I'm laughing my ass off, because I know Denny's coming, man. He's flying. So I'm flying there, and I think he finally caught up to me on the second or third lap. Yeah, I probably think it was the second lap, because I remember coming down, and I remember seeing him coming on the right-hand side, and when he caught me, I'm like, good, you know, because I didn't feel like winning that race anyways. I don't know what it is about me, because I always hated winning races. Because, like I always say, whenever I get out front, it's too boring. I get bored. I'm like, I see open air, open water. I love it when it's choppy. I love catching people. Catching people is the funnest part. I guess that's the whole thing about life was just all about the chase. Once you get the chase, once you catch it, once you catch the girl, you know, or once I hit a home run in softball or throw a couple strikes in bowling or something like that, that's when I just don't want to do it no more, you know. But yeah, that boy was telling me a lot about Nick and his dad Chuck. You know, you just gotta start trusting people and stuff like that. You can't just paint everybody at the same brush and stuff like that. You gotta treat everybody individually, because you're running some really, really good people. And when you ignore people like that, you know, those are the ones that are gonna help you out. And they helped me out that day. And after that day, I had all the respect them, but I still didn't really talk to them much, you know. And it was really sad what happened with Nick and DePew. And I heard his dad passed away a couple years later. Just maybe a few years ago, you know. And it was good to see that Chuck was still running. I guess, you know, Nick Steps kids or something like that got to run his 350 highs. So they got to experience that after they ran the K Pro in the kids class. So that was pretty cool. All right, so that's my boat racing story. One of my boat racing stories. I got many more boat racing stories for many more episodes. So, you guys all take care. Bye.
We love. Go hard when the going's tough. Push back, come push and shove. I belong to the dream.